welcome. Tuesday, the 10th of October. Welcome to another episode of Get Out of Rap TV. Got a clapperboard. How are we all? We have our first comment coming in. Hey, Darren. Good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Now, and Chris is here. Hey, Chris. Chris did the Evaluagent Summit last week, and his breakout session that I joined was brilliant. Are those recorded, Chris? Because your one was excellent. I'd recommend it to anyone. Yeah, Rob's here. Happy Tuesday. Hello, mate. Um, I am good, thanks. Good to hear you are too, Darren. And Lee is here as well. Good morning, Lee. And Mark, excellent. Change expert. Oh, I need to speak to you, Mark. I've got someone looking for to chat to someone about all things continuous improvement and change. Hey, G. Hello. G has joined the team leader community. Good to see you. Hi, Caroline. How you doing? And yeah, Neris is here, the Fresh Princess. Um, all of them apart from the workshops, I'm afraid. Oh, well, you'll have to recreate it at some point, then, Chris. Hey, Alan. How you doing? Good to see you. Agreed. Chris Mance's session was brilliant. It was. It was great, wasn't it, Rob? Michael's here. Hello. Good morning to you. And Nigel, good morning. This is going to become a running joke, Nigel, where I say I will get back in touch with you. Maybe we can keep it going every show. Now, I want to thank, of course, Sabio for making this episode possible. They are one of my partners. If you also would like to be a partner, or you know a company that, oh, cheers, Mark, thank you, or you know a company that might be interested in being associated with this, then please do get in touch. Yeah. I know. Jam tomorrow, mate, isn't it? Sorry. Okay, so you've all said hello, but I was thinking the other day we were coming back from football, and myself and my daughter Harmony must have saluted 10 magpies, and we both had different sayings for each one. So my question for you all, so we can all get to know each other better, are: what are your superstitions? Good morning, Jordan. There he is, a team leader community legend, no less. Um, what are your superstitions? What do you guys do when you see a magpie? Mine has always been to salute, say good morning, Mr. Magpie, then count to 10. But I've heard Harmony does something different. I've heard lots of other people do different things. Some do nothing at all. Are you superstitious? And what are your superstitions? What are they? Chris says seeing a pair of magpies equals good luck. A lone magpie, bad luck. Do they have to be next to each other, Chris, or could you see one? Like, how close do they have to be? Is there a rule around that? Ah, Peter's here. G'day, Peter. Yes. Everything's all right with the world. Spit if you see one. I've never heard that one, Lee. Morning, my lord, to a magpie. I will not walk over three drains. That's a good one. Neris, I'm the same. Never walk over three drains. I wonder where that came from, that one. Yes, Barry here is here. All round, nice guy, lovely bloke, and a legend. Won't cross on the stairs. No, that's true. I'm agreeing with all of these so far. One for sorrow, two for joy, three for a girl, four for a boy, five for silver, six for gold, seven a story never to be told. See, Rob, my one's slightly different to yours, but I have to say, Yusuf, this is great. Do you think magpies have they're like one human, two human? Yusuf, that's brilliant. I always salute the first lone magpie. See, oh, that's pretty good because I was saluting 10 times on Saturday. Better late in this life than early in the next one. Phil, it's good to see you, my friend. You're not late at all. We're still talking nonsense, so don't worry. According to the magpies, 10 feet apart. So they're like, quick, separate, spread. David does magpies. Good morning, Captain. How's your lady wife today? There's a lot of variations, isn't there, just on magpies alone? Because as for Rob's one, we sing one slightly different. One for sorrow, two for joy, three for a girl, four for a boy, five for a secret never to be told. No, you have that one. Seven. Now, what's Scott saying? Morning all, not really superstitious, which is just as well. Has had three black cats at one point, which meant avoiding my path being crossed was impossible. Yeah, well, there you go. And I do superstition's funny, isn't it? Because isn't it that we're going to have Friday the 13th this week, but for some, and I know we don't have the 13th floor on hotels. I live at number 12. There's no number 13. But for some cultures, isn't 13 lucky? I'm sure in Italy, maybe someone can correct me on that. Other superstitions. Always pick up pennies from the floor. See a penny, pick it up from the day. Twill bring good luck. Yes, another one. Oh, but a nice addition from Phil here, David. Give it to a friend and your luck will never end. I love that one. I'm going to do that, Phil. That's great. Alan lives in number 13. Great. So that is a bit of a. Maybe it's just certain houses of a certain age. It's strange how they've introduced it, isn't it? Because there is no number 13 in my street. Well, Alan, I love it. What other superstitions does everyone have? Keep them coming. It turns out, oh, Chris, I was born on Friday the 13th. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. A lucky day for us all, Chris. A lucky day indeed. Right. These have been brilliant so far. Oh, here we go. Now, Mark is going to. One for sorrow, two for mirth, three for a marriage, four for a birth, five for heaven, six for hell, seven beware the ne'er do well. That is awesome. Not superstitious, not religious, don't believe in ghosts or the power of crystals. Well, Rob, you were the first one to come up with a magpie song, I think. So, ooh. Triskaidekaphobia is such a lovely word. It is. What does it mean, Neris? Is it fear of magpies? Fear of superstition? Fear of black cats? What is it? Touch wood for good luck, Darren. Yes, very true. Touch wood. I think we all know that one. Spill the salt, throw a pinch over your left shoulder. Yeah. Also true. I think it's on The Office, isn't it? He said, I'm not superstitious, I'm a little stitious. So, Rob, maybe that applies to you. Oh, fear of the number 13. Love it. Brilliant. Flannelette is also a great word. Rob, come on. You're going to have to explain that one as well. I'm assuming it's just a small flannel. Is that what you've been doing? A bit of flannel? No, these have been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. G is terrified of breaking a mirror. I have to say, I have done that. Actually moving into this house. No, actually, it wasn't that long ago. I cracked a mirror. Touch wood. So far, so good. A flannel's full title. I can't keep up with Rob. I so find it curious when parents hand down superstitions and they live on for another generation. It's fascinating, isn't it? Absolutely fascinating. The birth of where they came from, it's hard to say, isn't it? Hello, Dom. Dom says, I've heard of people only drinking in prime numbers. You're going to have to explain that one to me, Dom, as well. I'm assuming in a pub, right? If that means, what does that mean? Don't whistle backstage, says David. Oh, are you a thespian, David? Do you love treading the boards? I could do some help at the expo actually for some on stage presence. Okay, so I am going to share with you some good news. Some good news. Hang on, I'm going to have to remove myself. That's right. We've gone over 250 in the team leader community. actually blazed past it, actually. Um, David Payne break a leg. Long. Not these days much. Ah, so we have to explore this a little further, I think, David. You are amateur dramatics or something a bit more, or well, I say a bit more, you know what I mean. I love it. Great. Yeah, so in the team leader community, we have broken 250. Thank you for all your support. There's people within the community here right now. So it is great. I'm loving it. Uh, that would have been better with Marion doing the dance. Yeah. Yes, it would. I totally agree. So you may notice my wrong way t-shirt. I bought this a few years ago. Today is World Mental Health Day. And the question for today on this World Mental Health Day, are we doing enough within the industry? And is there still a stigma about mental health? I would love to get your opinion on. Um, yes, Beth is here. Beth is also, like Jordan and Rob and a few others and G, an awesome member of the team leader community. Beth, good to see you. So you're just in time for this question. On World Mental Health Day, are we doing enough in the industry? Is there still a stigma? I think it's worth recognizing straight away. If you've been in the industry any length of time, you can definitely say our provision and awareness is unrecognizable from when I started. And that might reflect society, of course, but um, you were not able to talk to anyone about mental health challenges when I started in our industry, that's for certain. So, the provision of mental health first aiders, but on World Mental Health Day, is it something that is being reflected in your contact center or in your clients' contact centers? Is it something you're aware of? What's your opinion? Who's doing it well? Are we doing enough? Now, Phil says no. And is that in answer to are we doing enough, or is there still a stigma about mental health, Phil? Is it the first part of the question or the second? Barry says there is still a stigma, I'm afraid. I think we are getting better, but there's still so much to do in this area. Oh, Orok is here. Orok, all the way from Cameroon. It's great to see you. Good morning. Good morning, Orok. Um, so, Scott says, personally, I've seen companies taking leaps and bounds towards offering support avenues through mental health first aiders, third party support, etc. However, the stigma is still preventing people, men especially, from reaching out for help. Are we doing enough? No. So it's that first bit. And Scott, really, really good point here. Really good point. Uh, there is so much to be done to stop people from suffering from issues every single day. So employers need mental health first aiders. Thank you very much. I can't, maybe could you drop in the comments who you are? I can't see from your settings. Um, Beth says, I feel really lucky. My company have supported me in wanting to do mental health first aider training and suicide responder. I think it comes back to having open and honest one to ones. So staff feel safe to speak up about it. Beth, so true. Um, Chris says, I think there's always going to be a stigma around it. It's one thing talking about it in terms of raising awareness, but it takes great courage to put your hand up and say, I'm really struggling. Very true. So much talk around, so much talk and rhetoric around mental health, says Phil. I haven't seen action to follow up the talk. And Rob says, in the early days, I was once told there's no such thing as stress, just an inability to handle pressure. It's definitely better today, but still don't do enough. But this is society wide, not necessarily a reflection on contact centers. Um, Already some really, really good points. So you've got someone, um, Beth, for example, has got, is being given access to training that's going to help her become a better leader and for her team to realize that things are better. Now, here he is. This has put a smile on my face too. Hey up, stranger. It's Dan. Lovely to see your face this Tuesday. Oh, Dan, it's lovely that you are here. Um, it has been too long, my friend. Now, Dan has stepped out of his comfort zone. He's got a promotion at Nespresso and he's embracing the challenge of doing something really different. He's practically responsible for everything that happens at Nespresso now. It's lovely to see you, mate. The hidden. Oh, Spencer. Hello, mate. You have the same top in yellow. I will talk about that in a sec. But Spencer, it is great to have you join us again. Um, openness will help. I'm holding a session today where people can join if they want, where I'll be sharing my own personal experience with mental health issues. I know it's difficult to do, but I'd ask everyone who can to share. Barry, that is brilliant. And I think I've mentioned on this show before, but I have no problem talking about. We did a town when I was employed. We did a town hall, and it was around mental health. And I spoke about my own challenges that I had some 8 years ago, and that talking about it and having letting the company know that I was struggling led to go into counselling for about 6 months, and it was probably the best thing that I ever did. You know, we think about our physical health and our bodies and nutrition and exercise, and we have access to a gym, we have access to so much information about eating well, but the thing we don't necessarily look after is our brain and our thoughts and handling our emotions when we are faced by everything that life can throw at you. um, we should be, I know it's difficult at the moment as well, isn't it, because services are so stretched, but we should be getting people to have access to counselors, therapy, or at least the parts of it that are going to help before things go wrong, not afterwards. So I know there was a comment earlier, I think from Scott, around it's still difficult, especially for men, actually, to be able to stand up and say, I have had mental health issues. Here's what I did, or here's why I was there. Here's what I did. Here's what I felt like. But actually, there is a solution. Um, so I do not mind talking about it whenever I can. And Barry, well done for sharing that with your team, because I think they'll look at someone who's the head of the contact center and say, you know what, if he's had challenges, but he's at this point in his career, then I can do the same as well. Phil says, not enough qualification to act, plenty of listening and contact centers with an open door policy to speak your mind. But who's actually qualified and who should be? HR, your manager, specific role. I like the idea of mental health specific role. Very true. I go to Andy's Man Club, says Phil again. Everyone Monday evening. We talk a lot. It's great. People are supported by listening to others' experiences, stories, recoveries. That's brilliant. I've heard of Andy's Man Club, Phil. Maybe you can share some of the details if it's one that's open to all. Spencer, hello again. It's not related to mental health, but I suffer from tinnitus 24/7 and have to fight it like Bruce Lee against it. Well, keep fighting the good fight, my friend. Um, what more can we do then? And I think of the thing about stigma that's made me specifically want to ask this question today on World Mental Health Day is, if you think about people that are looking for work, and I share the list every week, but I've, other than that, as well as that, I mean, I get to talk to people on that job seeker list, and guess what? It's a kind of vicious circle that the activity of looking for a job affects your mental health. And if you have mental health challenges, you might want to be open about it in an interview. But 100% of the people I've spoken to have said they would never share it in an interview. And I think that for me is a real litmus test of whether there is still a stigma. You know, if you think about all of you guys now watching, if you were hiring and somebody says that they have mental health challenges, how would you feel? Has that happened perhaps? Peter, me and Pete have spoken a long about this long. I can't speak. Mental health fitness is something we've talked about plenty, right, mate? There you go. Thank you. You got the sentence out for me. I think there's less of a stigma, but I also think the need for support has never been higher. I couldn't agree more. There's so much pressure on everyone, and we ask our advisors to support customers with emotional issues. We're still not doing enough to help them. I couldn't agree more. Um, I think as well we're aware of vulnerable customers. We've spoken, Pete, haven't we, about how at the moment we have people being trained on how to deal with vulnerable customers when they themselves are vulnerable. So you have this kind of strange relationship going on. Yes, we have talked about it a lot. And I'm grateful for that, Pete, by the way. 100% check them out. Brilliant, says Phil. andysmanclub.co.uk, and they are on LinkedIn too. Well, after this, I will be following the group and having a look at the website. Thank you. Farhad's here. Hello. Sorry, being late. The door was locked. Yeah, sorry. Once I've started, we've got to shut the door, Farhad, especially on the likes of you. Come on, mate. um, so we we've done a lot. What we're saying is we've done a lot, but we still need to do more. And I wonder if the solution is in some of the things that have been talked about here. Do we need a specific role? People are getting access to become not only mental health first aiders, but like Beth mentioned, some very specific, serious stuff like a suicide responder. Um, and also, then we have communities where if you can't get access to professionals, then through communities like the Andy's Man Club that Phil mentioned are the seeming like the place to go. Phil says, spot on, Pete Dunn. So much training and support for VC, empathy, active listening, etc. All to support our customers. Time for a mirror moment. Couldn't agree more. And perhaps, I'm a bit loath to jump on every kind of day that there is. However, this one I think is a good one because it can galvanize companies and lead to hopefully employees feeling like they can ask and say, look, we're referencing World Mental Health Day. We do need some more support. Um, it's such a critical topic. And I think, as Rob mentioned, it's not necessarily just, or Pete, it's not necessarily just about our industry. It is also in society. But I think our industry is a challenging one for people on the front lines in that advisor role, where you are being monitored and you do get call after call or contact after contact. The strain that has on your mental health is likely to have an impact. To offer some balance, though, we are doing so much more. I know there's some great companies out there who are first and foremost thinking of their employees, and that naturally means that they talk about and think about and add provisions for people's mental health. Pete says, I support a mental health collective for bearded gents, much like Andy's Man Club, just a place to chat about things with a charter about no judgment, no trying to fix, etc. Yes, well, I love that kind of concept, Pete. I really, really do. With the advent of AI, instead of just focusing on the customer, could AI be programmed to look for stress signs in the agents? Is anyone doing that now? I did a podcast, Dave, with Nigel from Sabio, and they have a well-being AI assistant that the agent interacts with, and then that gives them tips and pointers, but also critically sends, or that information is available to their team leader, and then the team leaders are trained. It's very, very complex. I'm not doing it justice. It's one of my more recent podcast episodes, but it's a really good use of AI focused on well-being support for agents, and also then providing their team leaders with the provision to be able to make a change or support better. That's definitely a very topical kind of example I have. I think there's other apps as well that are being developed or live right now, where you can interact with the AI to guide you through. But again, it's very much kind of self-help. Yeah, check out the podcast. I can't remember which episode it is, but it's one within the last few weeks. Just go to getoutofrap.com and it will be there. Just search well-being and you'll see it come up. Okay, so again, thank you so much for all your comments. I think again we could continue this conversation for a long, long time. But I just want to share something else I did earlier this week. You might have seen it. Just bear with me one. Dancing in the moonlight, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine exercise. Everybody's dancing. Just I was playing around and added that to the team leader community. Hold on. Sounds good. It's like every company measures customer experience in some way, but far fewer measure employee experience. Very true. AI is a gray area when it comes to mental health, since there aren't any AI developers with understanding about people with disabilities, particularly those with mental health problems. This is Spencer. So true, Spencer. So true. I love that. Apology. Clayton's here, everybody, in Mickey Flanagan accent. I'm double busy. I love it. I'm going to touch on AI and advisor support at the Call and Contact Center Expo once I've written it. Brilliant. Well, I will be there to watch that, Pete. You better come and watch mine, though. That's a deal. Yes, they are, David. I recently judged an organization which was using AI to propensity model agents, ultimately to intervene if high risk of attrition is being evidenced across many data assets. There are tech vendors putting this out in GA2. Thank you, Neris. That is good to hear. Yeah, Jordan. Thank you, mate. I enjoyed making it. And talking about the community, he's not here today. You might have noticed the lack of comments. Danny is actually in a contact center right now. He is going to be our masterclass guest speaker in the team leader community this Friday. He's going to be doing Leadership is a Joke is a title. It's all about culture within the contact center and employee engagement. So very topical, because I know Danny would have a view on mental health as a topic, especially in the culture that exists within your contact center. But we're very lucky that Danny is going to be doing a masterclass. They're really well received within the contact center. So I'm very, very happy about that. If you know of companies or anyone that would benefit from their team leaders being in the community, or you are more than welcome to join yourself. It's not just team leaders. But if you do know of any organizations that would benefit, this is the kind of content that we get in there. Yes, it's going to be a goodie. And just on the video, Spencer says Bohemian Rhapsody from Wayne's World is probably the best to watch. I might see if I can work that into some contact center related meme. Thanks for the idea, Spencer. Now, if you remember, we did it. We did it last week. We finished the read along, didn't we? And we're going to do a new one. Don't worry, it hasn't gone anywhere. Now, I don't know about you. I'm still living off the joy of completing the Contact Center Decision Makers Guide with you all. We are going to start a new one, our new read along, also from Contact Babel. We are going to go through the UK Customer Experience Decision Makers Guide. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see whether there's crossover or how relevant we find it. So it's much shorter. If you remember, we were up to 470 pages in the Contact Center Decision Makers Guide. This one only has 115, so won't be as long. This report studies the CX strategy, performance, operations, and technology aspect of UK organizations. I thought I would share this with you to give you some. I never did this at the start of the other one, just to give you some context. So, 209 senior CX and customer contact professionals answered a detailed questionnaire. Maybe you did, because right now there is a request to fill out the contact center decision makers guide one. If you do, you get a free copy, which is great. Um, as well as asking 209 professionals a detailed questionnaire, there was a survey of 1,000 UK consumers also being carried out uh, on the to-do list. Love a bit of Danny. Good. Rob is referencing Danny's masterclass. Big shoes to fill this section. Yeah, I know. Let's see how we get on. So yeah, they also spoke to 1,000 UK consumers. I want to share with you the segments as well. So we have, and again, I didn't do this the first time round. So continual improvement. So the statistics were looked at and segmented in many different ways where relevant and possible by vertical market, contact center size, annual revenue, and organizational type. You can see the respondents there of the vertical markets, which might be a factor, I guess, when it comes to looking at percentages. So financial services had 42 survey respondents, where utilities only had 9. And then I think we have the bandings. So you can see fewer than 50 seats, 60 responded. 50 to 200 seats, 62 responded. 55 responses in the 201 to 1,000 seats. And more than 1,000 seats, there were 26 respondents. No contact center, 6. So I guess if I did this survey next time, I would be one of that 6. But more than 1,000 seats, 26 respondents. So here we go. Looking forward to this. Let's get going. Are you all looking forward to it? I hope so. Housing, new one for me. Yeah, there's a lot of housing. I think like um, Gary Robson and Sarah Williams and people like that who are local government, and L&Q, that's who I was thinking of. A big housing association, contact center, great operation, award winning. There's a lot, I think, isn't there? But yeah, 16 respondents there. I know the special interest groups. Yeah, here we go. Okay, first one. Stop waffling. Get into it. So the first question was about, this is for B2B, okay? And it was the importance of factors on which your organization competes. So let's see what it says. The main ways in which organizations have competed to win business is either through a low cost product or service or through selling goods of a higher quality. The overall customer experience has become a battleground upon which to win customer favor. So, yes, housing associations and local government mostly, says Dave. So you can see here, the dark blue is the ranking. So 53% of the respondents who operate in a B2B world said that their most important factor for their organization competing with others was customer experience, followed by the quality of their product, followed by price. You can see where they ranked it first, second, and third. Any surprises there? Probably not. That price is not considered an important factor upon which companies compete. And this is the respondents replying rather than consumers. Rob is kicking us off. This is great to hear. It is that the respondents said, listen, the main area we want to focus on in terms of being competitive in our sector is customer experience rather than price, followed by the quality of our product and our service. It is good to hear, Rob, isn't it? Because I guess it means that companies have got it, that they've got that is how customers are going to vote. They're going to vote based on the experience you offer them and the quality of the product and service, and lastly on price. Let's see if there's any difference with the same question for those that are B2C rather than B2B. I'm going to do the opticians one again first. The B2B, B2C. So slightly higher. CX having as a differentiator has been coming. It has. Surely price and quality are part of a customer's experience. Customer experience is judgment. Very good point, Pete. It says here more than half of all businesses say that customer experience, rather than price or quality, was a main factor upon which they wish to compete in the market. This can be seen as being very significant and indicative of the mindset of senior business leaders in the UK. Many organizations are now seeing customer experience as being the key to profitability. However, it remains to be seen how ongoing economic challenges will alter strategies. Um, as the country is struggling through a cost of living crisis, it is notable to find that businesses are not, in general, considering price reduction to be a major strategy. Perhaps as many producers of goods are also impacted by inflation passed on from their suppliers, and even service companies are experiencing wage inflation, which limits their ability to cut prices. So 33% of both B2B and B2C organizations stated that their primary competitive factor was quality. You'll like that one, Peter. Um, these are what I'd expect from B2C, but more price focused for B2B. That's a good call out, Phil. And if you see, they're very similar, aren't they? Very, very similar. Now, is there any change on um, by sector? Now, I found this very interesting. Phil, you can wade into this one, look, with housing. So, again, what they've done here now is customer experience is green, price is yellow, quality of product service is blue. The most important factor on which your organization competes by vertical market. And you can see significantly there. I guess actually, if you look at housing price, doesn't come into it at all. Um, I'm very surprised at customer experience versus quality of product in housing, but perhaps you could say they are the same thing. Maybe. What do we think of this? Don't mind me having a coffee. um, I guess we're drawn to, aren't we? The technology, media, and telecoms (TMT) by far has the highest percentage on quality of product and service, less so on customer experience because their kit has to do what it says it does, right? Is that the answer? Housing CCs support loads of vulnerable customers too, so very focused on their customers. Having been in some of these contact centers, I agree. Um, some examples of services, please. This section here, services. Let me see what it says. Um, mm, mm, mm. Service focused sectors doesn't actually say. What it does say is, while the outsourcing sector also wishes to compete on quality and customer experience rather than their cost, due to the importance of maintaining its profit margins, some survey respondents have chosen the route of ultra competitive pricing, um, which I guess is reflected in this 18%. Sorry, Phil, it doesn't actually say. Let me just check. No, it doesn't say, it gives you an example of services. Um, I can't help you on that one, I'm afraid. Um, I'm thinking professional services like solicitors, recruiters, Yeah, it could be legal, as opposed to finance, solicitors, recruiters, conveyancing, that kind of thing. Thank you, Neris. Rappers, maybe musical artists. Uh, so moving on, we have what are the main aims? Sorry, Phil. I just thought that's where I'd want the experience as a consumer. Yes, very true. Um, so, what are the main aims of your CX improvement program? And you can see here we have Pete's. Yeah, good point, Pete. Travel, food, healthcare, maybe. Maybe there's an explanation in there. I will have another read through. So let's have a look at this. What are the main aims of your CX improvement program? I found this a bit kind of assumptive. It assumes that everyone has a CX improvement program. Um, so survey respondents were asked to rank in importance the main aims of their customer experience program from the following options: to increase customer retention rates and loyalty, to reduce the cost of serving the customer, to increase the number of customers they had, through cross-selling and upselling to increase the revenue per customer. 69% of respondents placed increased customer retention rates in the first or second position, suggesting that one of the long established aims of CRM, customer loyalty, is a major target for most companies' customer experience programs. This figure has grown year on year. Um, that is interesting about housing. It's something I need to look into this very seriously. Spencer, me too. Well, glad I could help. This is interesting, isn't it? That when it came to what were the main aims, increased customer retention rate was considered the most important, more than acquiring new customers, much more than improving cross sell and upsell rates. Um, when you consider the first one here, but again, overall, first and second, yeah, slightly less than lower customer service cost. Interesting. Retaining customers being the most important thing doesn't always bear out, does it, from personal experience? Yeah, and price isn't important. What happens when we go to cancel a contract? What lever do they tend to pull? Very true. Very true. I've found it very difficult over the years to cancel various TV services. You can have it for free for a year. Go on then. Very, very interesting, isn't it? And maybe this is where the price thing comes out. I'm surprised more new customers is an option to select. Interesting. They all focus on revenue generation and cost to serve improvements. Surely they should speak to what customers care about as part of CX improvement. Pete, you've read my mind. That is coming. Maybe, probably not today. We're running out of time, but that's the next part. High customer retention, I can understand. Lower cost, though? Question mark. Well, we are off to a flyer, aren't we? And it's already sparking interest. I hope it carries on this way. Um, and we might also kind of, by going through it, better understand, or it'll help me anyway, better understand the real nature of the relationship between contact centers and CX in detail. So we're off to a flying start. I just want to remind everyone of an offer I have at the moment where if you know of any companies that are in the charity sector or are a registered charity, I'm giving away a free membership to the team leader community. So if you know of any out there, please do point them over to me. I'll happily give them a team leader in the community for free as a thank you for everything that they do. So we're off. We're off and running. We've made it. We're on to a new book. We're not just a one season wonder. Thank you all very much for joining and all of your contributions, of course, on this World Mental Health Day. I would like to say, I want to ask all of you to be kind to yourselves first and foremost. Your battery, you can't help others if your battery is low. Um, I hope through everything I do that Get Out of Rap, is a safe space, and you can come here and talk about anything, and contact me privately as well if you need any support or want to chat. I'm happy to talk about my own experiences or anything like that. But please do exercise kindness to yourself on this World Mental Health Day. Orok, thank you as well. You're more than welcome. It's a pleasure. I love doing this, and I will see you all next Tuesday.